Hi everyone and welcome to a new video. Today it's time to start contrasting present simple and present continuous. Remember that in previous videos I've been explaining more in depth not only present simple but also how the adverbs of frequency are combined or appeared within present simple sentences. But today it's time to start learning as well present continuous and to practice with exercises where both appear. As I've been mentioning in previous videos, present simple is going to be a common tense that is used to talk about habits and routines. Something like I study English every day implies that that's something I do every single day. At the same time, if I say something like I'm a teacher or you are a student, we can see that present simple is also going to be used to talk about general truths and facts. On the other hand, in this video, we're going to work in depth with present continuous. Remember, present continuous is a tense that is used to talk about things that are happening at the moment of speaking. Somehow, I am speaking in English, you are watching this video, or I am studying English at the moment could be some of the common examples or some possible examples of present continuous. But let me summarize this a little bit more. These are the two main uses of present simple. As I was mentioning, we use it to talk about habits and routines. I eat lunch every day implies that that's something you do every single day, as you can see in the timeline. Present simple is also going to appear with clues or signal words such as every day, on Monday, at the weekend, after school, in the morning, at night, as well as adverbs of frequency. If you still have problems or doubts with this thing, there's a video where I explain more in depth present simple, and there's another one where I work with adverbs of frequency. The second and most common use of the present simple is to talk about general truths or facts, hablar de verdades universales o hechos. I was mentioning before the sentence I am a teacher or you are a student, or rain falls from the sky are common examples of present simple sentences. In these cases, we cannot see any clue. En este caso no hay pistas porque simplemente pues son oraciones simplonas que nos muestran un hecho y ya está. You must be familiar with this structure. This is how we build present simple sentences in English. Remember that the first thing we do is a distinction between subject pronouns. On the one hand, I, you, we, you, they, and on the other one, he, she, and it. These special cases. Why special? Well, because in the affirmative form, we always add an S or IES or only ES to the verb. Recordad que en la afirmativa solemos añadir a este verbo una S o I latina ES o ES, tal y como explico en el vídeo del presente simple, donde tengo una diapositiva donde hablo cómo saber si solamente añado una S y sigo la regla general o por el contrario, pues puede cambiar un poquito y nos encontraríamos ante una excepción. En el caso de la negativa, we follow the same rule all the time. There's going to be an auxiliary that in the case of the present simple, we talk about do or does, and we negate it. That means we add not or N apostrophe T, as we can see here. Don't or doesn't, if we are talking about the third person singular. Then we maintain the verb in its bare form. Añadimos el verbo tal cual, porque en el caso de he, she, it, entendemos que la S se la lleva el auxiliar. Por eso tengo doesn't y no don't. Cuando hablamos de la interrogativa, volvemos a seguir la misma estructura de siempre. El auxiliar se pone al principio, the auxiliary is somehow fronted, then we have the subject, and then we have the verb, and so on and so forth. Once again, the verb without any S, without anything, because the S is attached to the auxiliary. Do you learn a language? Does he learn a language? Yes, he does. No, he doesn't. Or do you learn a language? Yes, I do. No, I don't. Remember, this is the common structure of present simple. What about present continuous? Well, let me remind you that present continuous is a tense that we use to talk about things that are happening right now, at the moment of speaking. So something like, I don't know, I am talking in English, you are watching this video. Or imagine that I'm having breakfast and my friend calls me and I tell her, oh, sorry, I can talk to you. I'm having breakfast now. So you imagine myself doing that action. You imagine that I'm having breakfast. Me imaginas desayunando, ya que si yo traduzco esta oración sería, lo siento, no puedo hablar, estoy desayunando, ¿vale? Si yo representase esto a través de una gráfica, sería pues la gráfica que tenéis ahí. You can see the timeline, something that is happening right now, at the moment of speaking. It's happening right now, at this moment, okay? So just below you can see different people doing things. So I don't know, the first girl is climbing a mountain, there's another one who is watering the plants, or there's another one who is painting, for instance. But I'm describing what they are doing at this precise moment. That's why when we talk about present simple, the most common clues are the following. Something like now, right now, que sería justo ahora, or at the moment, or look, he's fishing, okay, imagine. So that look is a way of catching your eye, okay, catching your attention somehow. Or listen, listen, he's singing a song, okay, imagine. Once again, a way of catching your attention. Currently and today are also some common clues of present continuous. At the same time, present continuous is also going to be a verb that we use to talk about complain somehow, quejas. Si yo digo, ay, cállate, siempre estás hablando. I will say it with present continuous, like you are always talking. Siempre estás hablando, okay? You're always talking. And as we are going to see later on when we talk about the future, present continuous can also be used to talk about a close and very arranged future. We'll see that in the exercises. But well, this said, let me explain you how the present continuous is built. I imagine that you have already deduced the structure of present continuous. It's quite simple. Since we are talking about a present tense, that means that the auxiliary is going to appear in its present form. As we've seen in previous videos, the verb to be is created in a very irregular way. So we need to add or to use am, is, or are, depending on the subject pronoun. Remember, am is always for I. You, we, you, they will take are, and he, she, it, the third person singular, will take is. And since we are talking about a continuous tense, the verb is always going to take ing. Siempre que un verbo se apellide o lleve de segundo nombre o como lo queráis llamar la palabra continuous, implica que el verbo principal, o alguno de los verbos al menos, va a llevar ing. De hecho, si os fijáis en la gráfica de abajo, la ing nunca se quita y siempre aparece en todo momento. ¿Ok? In the affirmative, you can say something like, I am learning, then you are learning, or he is learning. Si os fijáis, cuando yo lo traduzco, es prácticamente literal a la traducción que yo haría en español. Yo estoy estudiando. En español utilizaríamos el gerundio, pero en inglés pues es el verbo con ing, que también se conoce como el participio de presente. When we negate this thing, we need to add the negative. Okay, so not or an apostrophe T. Where do we add it? Basically to the auxiliary verb, to am, are, is. That's why we use am not. Remember that we cannot attach it. We can say aren't or is, or are not, as well as isn't or is not. The same thing. Y fijaos, es la misma estructura que estamos viendo constantemente para crear las negativas, auxiliar más negación, not o n apóstrofe t, que es lo mismo. Cuando creamos la interrogativa, por el contrario, tenemos que seguir pues otra vez la misma estructura de las interrogativas. Ponemos el auxiliar al principio, so the auxiliary is fronted, then it's followed by the subject, and then the verb, and so on. Entonces, lo que hacemos es, pues nada, coger el auxiliar y ponerlo al principio. Am I learning a language? Are you learning a language? Is she learning a language? And so on and so forth. Fijaos que en este caso nunca quitaríamos la ing, ¿vale? Y personalmente considero que el presente continuo es mucho más sencillo y más visual que el presente simple, ya que, bueno, pues simplemente es poner el verbo to be y después el verbo con ing. And as I always say, practice makes perfect. So it's time to start practicing. This exercise is a bit complex because you're going to find a mix between present simple and present continuous. So how are you going to do this exercise? Well, First of all, my advice is that you read the entire sentence. You look for clues if they exist, and then you remember the structure of present simple and the structure of present continuous. You decide and you just create it. Supposing that you've already done the exercise, let's check it together. The first one is a bit difficult because are you coming tonight is a present continuous that we are using to talk about the future. Tonight es esta noche y todavía no ha llegado. Ya veremos más adelante que el presente continuo tiene un valor de futuro. Un futuro de alguna manera ya planeado y tan fijo que no voy a poder cambiar. Si yo te digo algo como, oye, vienes esta noche, que en español además de eso se traduciría como un presente normal, en futuro, bueno, en este caso sería una especie de plan súper fijo que no puedo cambiar. Es decir, te pregunto que si vienes esta noche porque hay un plan súper importante. Ya lo veremos más adelante. Then the next one, it's quite simple. Does he eat rice every day? ¿Come arroz todos los días? Since we have every day, then we're going to use present simple. The next one, I am working at the moment. Remember the clues. At the moment means present continuous. So I go, I check the structure, and I write it with that structure. In the case of the present continuous, it's quite common that you forget about the verb to be. Es muy común que cuando creéis oraciones en presente continuo se os olvida el verbo to be y directamente me ponéis I working y digo, ole, muy bien. No, dos cosas. No se os puede olvidar que lleva, o sea, que el verbo del present continuous lleva dos cosas. El auxiliar, el verbo to be y luego el verbo en ing. Que os falle una implica pues que está mal, obviamente. Then the next one, does he come to London often? An adverb of frequency, sorry, present simple. He is playing tennis now. That's my clue. Or, are you coming to the cinema later? La 6 es igual que la 1. Later, ¿vale? Sería, pues eso, más tarde. Hablaríamos de un futuro cercano y que, por tanto, pues estamos hablando de un plan superfijo que sí o sí vamos a ir al cine. They aren't listening to music right now. That's my clue. Or he isn't playing golf now. Another clue as well. Do you play tennis every Sunday? A common clue as well of present simple. She goes to a restaurant every Saturday. Remember, we don't say goes, but rather goes. She doesn't go to the cinema very often. Very often is my clue. And doesn't go. The verb without S. Remember that the S is attached to the auxiliary, doesn't in this case. You usually arrive late with usually, and he normally eats dinner at home. Remember that even though we have an adverb of frequency, a pesar de que tengamos un adverbio de frecuencia como es con normally, el verbo, si tiene que llevar ese, porque mi sujeto, como es el caso, es he, es una tercera persona del singular, la va a seguir llevando. Que no se os olvide, sobre todo cuando os viene, por ejemplo, he always eats. Se sigue poniendo la S, aunque always lleve S, que no sé por qué en vuestra cabeza entra que se quita la S. No, no se quita, ¿vale? And remember also the placement of the adverb of frequency, that it is always, or in the majority of the cases, like 90% of the situations, placed before the verb, except for the verb to be, that then it is placed after. I am always happy, imagine. Do you study every night? Routine. And finally, do they work late? Usually. Usually, that's my clue. So as you can see in blue, I've been using present continuous for things that are happening just right now at the moment of speaking. And then the purple one are examples of present continuous. They are either routines or fixed habits or general truths and facts. And this is the end of this video, so after watching it, you must be able to describe the uses of both present simple and present continuous. Remember, I've also somehow talked about them in the previous slide. You must be able to create sentences in the affirmative, negative, and interrogative form. This is somehow the basis for everything. If you know how to build these two tenses, you're going to understand the rest of English. But if you don't, please keep on practicing because they are quite important. And finally, you must be able as well to distinguish between present simple and present continuous. In case you want to keep on practicing, something that I strongly recommend, remember that there's some extra practice in the description of the video, and I'll always be available via email to answer all your doubts. This said, have a lovely day, enjoy it quite a lot, and well, see you soon.